and I'd like to invite my family, the singers. They're gonna, in our tradition, my name's Johnny Moses with Stemini. I'm from the Nuu-chah-nulth, that's in the Vancouver Island, British Columbia, on my mother's side. My father's people are from the state of Washington near Seattle, and they are the Tulalip people, Snohomish people, and there's several other tribes. But we always start out with a song, and we're going to welcome you with a potlatch song. It comes from the Chinook language, Pashel. But the English people couldn't pronounce the word Pashel, so they called it potlatch. And so, I don't know, some of you might have heard that word potlatch. That's where we get that name from, which literally means to share. And so when we're done singing the song, we like all the boys and the men to say, "Oh." A little bit louder. And then the ladies say, I think there's, we're outnumbered. Oh, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh, yeah, and all the men and boys say, "Oh."
And all the women say,
The women beat us again. Haichka. This is our sign language for thank you from our heart. Haichka, we say Haichka. That's how we greeted all the people that came to our area in the Pacific Northwest. We'd always greet them with welcome, thank you from our heart. So we do this wherever we go. And I'm so honored to be here to share the stories with the young people and the elders. The stories are not just for children. In our culture, where that I am from, is oral tradition. So we are raised with stories. We hear stories all our life, and it continues through our adult and elder years. We call the stories the teachings. But the Western world calls our stories myth and lore. But we know they are the teachings because they connect us with our ancestry, our genealogy. We know where we come from because of our grandmothers and grandfathers that loved us. So the first story I'd like to share with you is the story of Lady Louse. And you know what louse is, or lady lice? That creepy crawling thing in your hair if you don't have clean hair. So this is, remember that when you listen to the stories, everything in the stories represents a person. Even the trees, the rocks, everything is alive. So, and then we also ask people to say Habu. When I do stop talking. So every time I stop talking, you say Habu. That means we are listening, I think. So you're letting the storyteller know that you're trying to pay attention. Aslatlio al kwasi bashchad. Long ago, there lived Lady Louse. Atalgui gui suyayar. She had no friends or relatives. Utabakwawat, she lived in a real big house. Ash'elqel. Her house was very, very dirty. Everything all piled up. In her house, just little trails to walk through. One day, the broom spoke to her. And the broom said, I'll help you clean your house. So she accepted this, and she grabbed the broom and she began to sweep her house. When she got to the very middle of her house, she got lost. And that was the end of poor Lady Louse, Shabshud Bashchad. She got lost in her own dirt. And some people thought, what is so entertaining about that? Well, you can get lost in series, your computer, or finding a place. So the stories are symbolic. Here is a little story that I heard a 13-year-old girl share in Vancouver, British Columbia, in a different language. I always share the stories in all the languages I speak. I speak 9 native languages, and they're all isolate languages. If you're listening to this language, you may say Ines. Can you say Ines? Ines. That means we are listening. Ines. And this story, Lady Louse is a sponge. Long time ago, in 1976, there lived Lady Louse, and she was a sponge. She had an idea. I know, I'll jump in the river. You could learn some sign language. This is the river. She jumped in the river. As she got in the river, she became self-absorbed. And that was the end of poor Lady Louse. That is all. Okay, here is a traditional story that is told by our people in the Tulalip tribe. That's my father's people, Snohomish, Snoqualmie, all those people. That it's just north of Seattle and also east of Seattle. And they say Hamilkawich. Can you say Hamilkawich? Hamilkawich. You'll learn how to say we are listening in many languages. So Hamilkawich. This is a story of the bear and the ant. And so don't forget to say Hamilkawich. Long ago, there lived the bear and the ant lady. and they would talk to themselves and everybody. And Bear would say, "Well, I want to chocolate. I'm tired. I'll get my work done tomorrow." Oh, and then there was the ant lady. This is Ant Lady. And she would say, "Oh, I got to do this and do that. Oh, I'm in a hurry. I don't have enough time." And that was the Ant Lady. And everybody called her Kokaladi. Can you say Kokaladi? That means hyperactive. And she was always in a hurry, always busy. Well, the bear did not like the way things were, because long ago it was like it is now, day and night, day and night, day and night. You can learn some sign language, day and night, day and night, day and night. He says, "I don't like that." Well, actually he said, "Oh, I don't like that." And he wanted one whole year to be daylight and the next year to be nighttime. So he told Ant Lady, "Let's have a contest." And the contest was whoever could win singing the longest and still be awake, that would be the winner. So in Native American stories, important things happen 4 times. So the bear sang first, Duchu. And this is what he sang. And you could sing along with the bear if you'd like. I'll sing in the language first and then translate into English. He got his paw ready. Got your paw ready? Got your stick ready? Your spirit stick. And he pounded it on the ground and he sang, "Dukhala, Dukhala Bachaya, Dukhala, Dukhala Bachaya." Next year it's going to be daylight. Year after it's going to be nighttime. You could sing in the English part if you... And then the Ant Lady sang Duchu the first time. And she used to be a big ant long ago. Her waist had 365 notches. So she tightened her belt, and this is what she sang. "Balacha bachaya, balacha bachaya, balacha bachaya, balacha bachaya, day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night." Then the bear sang second time. Got your paw ready? Got your stick ready? "Dukhala, Dukhala bachaya. Next year it's gonna be daylight. Year after it's gonna be nighttime." Hamukawich. Then the Ant Lady sang second time. "Day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night." Then the bear sang Shliu the third time. Got your paw ready? Your stick? Oh, the bear was getting tired. "Dukhala, Dukhala bachaya. Next year, it's gonna be daylight. Year after, it's gonna be nighttime." Ant Lady sang Cleo the third time. Got your belt ready? Gonna tighten her belt again, because that belt was a spiritual, a power belt. And that was her medicine. And there she tightened her belt and she sang, "Balacha bachaya, balacha bachaya, balacha bachaya, day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night." The bear sang the fourth, "Bos." And he was really tired. Got his paw ready, his stick, and he sang, next year it's gonna be daylight. Year after it's gonna be nighttime. And the ant lady sang the fourth time. And this is what she sang. And she was down to the last couple notches on her belt. And she sang, and you could sing in English. Day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night. Oh, it's so tight. Oh, Ant Lady won the contest. Oh, and that's why we have day and night, day and night, day and night. Always have to work and be busy. And they say that's why it is today. But the people in Alaska, they still have the bear went up that when that Kokrachat, we say, that battle in Alaska. So they have a whole night and a whole day over there in the north. That is all. I'm a Cowich. This next story I like to share is a story that is a favorite among our people. And it's a story of the skunk. The skunk was a very important medicine man a long time ago. Can you say scabia? Scabia. And scabia was a powerful medicine man long time ago, and he used to brag about himself. And he'd say, "Oh, Lotaboho teaches, my power is so important. I have important message." And if you're listening to this story, you may say, "Habu." And there was another word you need to learn is spoopudi. Can you say spoopudi? Spoopudi is the fart power. And the skunk, as you know, has the powerful power of the spoopudi. At that time, the spoopudi had a big hole. So this tells you the story about the skunk. Long ago, there lived the skunk. He would travel around. He says, "My message is very important." And he would encourage everybody to fix their houses and feel the cracks in their houses. In our area in the Pacific Northwest, we lived in long houses. We didn't live in teepees. And the long houses were made out of cedar wood. But sometimes there were cracks. So he would tell them, fill up the cracks with pitch or whatever and make it airtight and soundproof. Because I want my message to be secretive. Anybody on the outside, I don't want them to hear my message. And as the people would fix their houses, he says, "Okay, invite everybody." And everybody would invite their relatives and friends, fill up the house, and then they would seal up the doorway with pitch. make the house airtight, soundproof. There, Skunk would say to everybody, everybody ready? And you can say, that means yes. And in Lushootseed language, that's the language of Chief Seattle, our people in Duwamish. So Skunk turned around slowly, and raised his tail, and shot his fart power out. And the fart power filled the room. And everybody died. Well, he went from house to house doing that, killing everybody with his spapooty, his fart power. He got pretty bad, and he became we say, a psychosomatic fart killer. So he ran out of people to kill on the coast. So he went over the mountains to eastern Washington, we call Yakima, the Taupe-shirted country. And the people there lived in mound houses, and the entrance is on the top. And these two mole grannies, they knew he was coming because they were medicine women. They were psychic. And they said, oh, I just can't wait till he gets here. Skunk thinks he's so powerful. They fixed their house up and they made a big, huge fire. And they made it airtight, like Skunk likes it. And Skunk, of course, always announced, I am very important. I'm here to share my very important message. And the mole grannies would just, okay. Well, Skunk, they called him in. You go to Mohalo, Tootles. You could come down. Enter our house now, Skunk. Skunk climbed down the ladder from the entrance on the top of the mound house. As he climbed down, they grabbed him on both sides and pulled him down and sat him on the hot rocks. Ooh, and cauterized you know what. So the skunk was not able to kill anybody with his fart power anymore. He just only could make a little stink. So that's how the mole grannies took care of him in those days. And that is all. Our elders always would say, doesn't that remind you of someone that you know? I am so grateful to my grandma and grandpa. When I was these children's age, we had a lot of grandmas and grandpas. Every elder in our village was a grandma and grandpa. And they would discipline us. They would teach us and help us. And help the moms and the pops with their children. And I always admired that we couldn't get away with anything as children, because we had always elders around us, protecting us and guiding us. It is such a wonderful way to grow up, Tukwela Sasitiu. This next story, I guess I'll share, is from my mother's side, is the Nootka, also known as Nuchanoth, Nuchanoth or Nuchanoth. There's different ways to pronounce it. Nootka people are also in the area of Washington too, a place called Nia Bay, Washington. They are called the Quiddichidat, or now they're called Makah. They were called Makah by the Klallam Indians. We have many, many tribes in the Pacific Northwest, which is so interesting to come down to this country where there's not very many Native people left. There are some, but it always amazes me to feel the Native presence of the land. Mother Earth is still here, and the energy. So I am always so grateful to come here, and I thank the nature. Our brothers took us to the Cahokia Mountains not too long ago, and that's when I was able to walk farther. Walked up the Cahokia Mount, and then I asked one of the brothers, "Oh, what is that one? There's the tallest, another mound way over there." And he says, "Oh, that's in St. Louis, and that's a garbage dump." But it was like a big, huge mound. It was bigger than all the Cahokia mounds. I says, I can't wait. Years from now, anthropologists will be digging up that. These are the ancient mounds of the 1990s, or the ancient people who lived here. So, anyway, you never can hide from the presence of the material, the things, the water, the Mississippi River, everything can speak to you, talk to you. And our people believe in that. Our elders always say, always be sensitive, always be open to learning. Keep your intellect open. But this story is lots of animals in it. And if you're listening to this story, you may say, Keklel. Can you say Keklel? Very good. And those of you who can't say Keklel, some of our people say Keklel. Can you say Keklel? Keklel or Keklel. Either way. That means we are listening. And that's the Nootka, Nuchanoth language from Mears Island on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Long ago, the animal people lived. They talked to one another. And they'd say, don't go to the beach when the tide is way out. Because that mean old thing lives out there, the tishloop. And you can learn a word in our language. Say tissue and loop. And put those words together, tishloop. That's the octopus lady. Tishloop. And another word is kaka. Kaka. Yeah, not kaka. Kaka. And kaka is the crow. And the crow would say, Shwa! Ha! Those animal people don't know nothing. I know everything. That was Crow. And he talked to himself. He'd walk around. He went visiting. This is walking. Are you walking? This is sign language for walking. He walked to the first longhouse. And it was Cousin Mosquito Man's house. And Cousin Mosquito Man began to talk to Crow and say, Don't go to the beach because that dirty mean thing lives there. And the crow would say, I know. And he'd walk to are you walking to the next house? And he walked to the next house. He went to cousin Bearman's house, and Bearman said, go to the beach because the octopus lady lives there. And Crow would say, I know. Then he went to the next house. The original story takes at least a half an hour to tell, but I'm sharing the condensed version. And so he went to Flea Man's house. He started walking to Flea Man's house. And Flea Man's house was so tiny, he just had to peek through the doorway. And our old people say, because he peeked through the doorway, that's where we learn how to flirt with people. When someone goes like that to you. We learned that from Flea. Okay, and so, as the crow peeked through the doorway, Flea Man talked to Crow and said, and Crow would say, I know. He went to the last house, cousin Yaka's house. Could you say Yaka? That's the banana slug. In our area, we have big banana slugs, yellowish, green. They're real big. So we entered Slugman's house, and it was a real long house. And it was shiny and slippery. Crow entered the house, and he starts slipping and sliding. Then cousin Slugman began to talk to Crow. This is what Slugman said to Crow. This is what he said in English. And Crow would say, wiping his face, I know. Slid out of the house, and he went to the beach when the tide was way out. And the crow said, those animal people don't know nothing. I know everything. Every time he'd say, I know, the water started to come in, and this head popped out of a little hole. This big, huge head popped out of the hole, and who do you think it was? Tishloop, octopus lady. And she was so happy to see the crow. And she'd say nice things to Crow. Hello, dude. Come a little bit closer, Crow. And Crow would say, I know. He got real close. She put her arm around him. And every time she'd put her arm around him, the water would rise a little higher. Hello, dude. You really handsome, Crow. And Crow would say, I know. Water would rise a little. Is your water rising a little bit higher? Oh, then she said some more nice things. Put another arm. Ooh, you smell really nice, Crow. And Crow would say, I know. The water rose. Crow was getting hungry. He said, "Shwaha, I'm hungry. When are we going to eat?" And Octopus Lady put another arm around him, and she would say, we're going to eat pretty soon. Crow would say, as the water was way up here now, I know. Oh, Crow was really mad. He was really hungry. And he said, Shwaha, I'm hungry right now. What's for dinner? And Octopus Lady put her last arm around Crow, and she said, you are the dinner, Crow. Poor Crow, is your water way up here? And the poor Crow said, no. And that is all. 1 minute. Okay, this is my closing story, I guess. Yeah. And this is the grandmother cedar tree story. I heard that you had a terrible storm here not too long ago. And I see all the trees that have been cut. The trees are very sacred to our people and our area. We think of the trees as people, the tree people. In the Northwest Coast, we make our canoes, our ocean-going canoes. We had ocean-going canoes that could fit as many as 50 people in an ocean-going old-growth canoe, old-growth trees. We made our clothes out of cedar bark. They were repellent, rain repellent. Many things out of the cedar. So the cedar trees were important. We have the red cedar and the white cedar, or yellow cedar, I mean. And they were very important to our people. But this is a story that talks about helping one another. I'm a survivor of cancer. I always like to share that because I heard this story a lot when I was dying of cancer, and the elders would come into the hospital and tell me the story. And I would hear different parts. I would go in and out of consciousness because I was so sick. And then, but the story was such a healing story. I always tell people, because the cancer, I only have half stomach, half of my intestines, and half a lung. So I'm truly a half-breed. That's what I tell people. So, but this story was a beautiful story that helped me to survive. Stories are healing because the sacred breath, your ancestors, your people, your ancestors can heal you. When they love you, they love you. It's love that heals you. So this story shares a lot about love. So if you're listening to the story, you may say Ineweth. It will be told in the Samish language that's spoken in the San Juan Islands in the state of Washington, and as well as the Gulf Islands in Canada. And they say Ineweth. Can you say Ineweth? And if you want to say it the old way, Ineweth. If you feel the tip of your tongue touches the roof of your mouth, and you and you feel air coming out, and if you feel slobber going out that way, and you notice we go like this, it's to welcome, but it's also to protect ourselves from our relatives, because they might be spitting on the side. Long ago, there lived a big cedar tree. You can learn some sign language. It's a cedar tree. Oh, she was tall and strong. Tall and strong. Nathan, but she was sad and lonely. Loneliness is one palm open and a closed palm, because a lot of people hide their loneliness. Nathan, she was sad. All my people are gone. I have no one to talk to. I'm so alone. Sitsaltsiem, the Great Spirit, could feel her sorrow. You got sorrow and loneliness. He could feel that and called the four winds from all directions to come. And they carried a baby seed, a little cedar tree, and planted it right next to Sitla, grandmother cedar tree. Oh, she felt good. Her tears of sorrow and loneliness became tears of joy. Tears of joy. She had someone to take care of her grandson, her Shotmith. Oh, he grew from the tears. As he grew, the deer loved to chew, and other animals loved to chew on the fresh branches. She'd move her strong arms back and forth. You got strong arms, and move them back and forth and scare them away. Nithanawatal, he'd feel so good, the grandson. He'd grow some more. Are you growing? And sometimes the wind was so strong, the north wind, could cause a thin tree to bend and break. She'd put her arms around him and protect him. You putting your arms around someone that you love and protect them? He'd feel so good. He'd grow some more. You growing some more? Sometimes the sunlight and the bright lights of the stage were unbearable. It would cause your skin to burn. So Sitla, grandmother, would put her arms over her grandson and give him a shade. You putting your arms over? In our language, we call shade the night part of your soul. There's a daylight soul and a nighttime soul. And the nighttime soul, when you put that over someone that you love and you don't tell them, it's because you love them so much you want them to be protected. He'd feel so good. He'd grow some more. He was so tall. He was a tall cedar tree. But sometimes he felt sad, and lonely. Sitla, grandmother cedar tree, could feel his sorrow and loneliness. So she sang beautiful songs and called the birds. You can learn the birds of many kinds to come and land on her strong arms. And they would sing beautiful songs and carry the sorrow and loneliness away. Grandson couldn't grow any taller, so he started growing what we call thinatiwil. This way, old growth. That's tiwalat. He felt so happy. Oh my, anana. But seasons passed. Sitla now was really, really old. She was ancient. She says, I can't carry on no more. And my poor grandson has to listen to me all the time. He probably wishes he could talk to other people. Grandson could feel his grandmother's sorrow and loneliness. It says, grandmother, remember when you protected me when the deer came and started to chew on my branches, but you chased them away? You got your strong arms, and moved them back and forth. You scared them away. And so he did that for her. He used his strong arms. And she felt good. Oh, maybe I'll live a little bit longer. Grandmother, remember when you protected me from the strong north wind? You put your arms around me? I got strong arms now. I'll put them around you and protect you from the strong north wind. She felt so good. Maybe I'll live a little longer. Sila nitithanamatar. You put your arms over me and protected me from the sunlight and the bright lights. Grandmother, I will put my arms over you and give you shade. And she felt so good. She grew some more. Sinamatatawal. Grandmother, Nishas Kwatamatar. I learned all the songs. I know how to sing the songs. I know how to call the birds. Got your birds? Of many kinds. And I will call them, and they will come and land on my strong arms, and they'll sing for you and carry your sorrow and loneliness away. She felt so good. She had tears of joy. And grandson said to grandmother, Grandmother, you took care of me. Now I will take care of you. And that is all. Our elders call that kind of story a tearjerker story.